All right, State Representative Aftyn Behn here for my Pink Chair playback and preview of what's to come, giving you the Tennessee tea of the Tennessee 114th General Assembly under our matron saint, and in my pink chair with my End the Grocery Tax themed banana pillow because the grocery tax is bananas, as the youths say. So it's been a frenetic few weeks in the legislature. We had our bill filing deadline 2 weeks ago, and the House members had a decreased threshold from last year. So we went from being able to file 15 bills to 12. And in that time, we are trying to find Senate sponsors for a lot of our bills who they are able to carry an infinite number of legislation. So it was a lot of chaos, a lot of tantrums, and fortunately, I got all my bills in. A big thank you to all my Senate sponsors who bared with me to get those over the finish line. And so now the legislative process starts. So how this works is we put our bills on notice when we decide to run them. And so on notice means that you will present them in committee. And so I spent about 10 hours this weekend calendaring when I will run legislation based on, for example, the grassroots days on the Hill. A lot of you will be up here lobbying to end the grocery tax, lobbying to expand universal pre-K, lobbying for potholes. And so I want to make sure that you will have the opportunity to lobby for those bills before I present them and well, unfortunately, some of them will meet the utmost demise. But now without some theater. So I have some excellent antics in store for you all, which I'm excited about. Then we have the governor's state of the state. And every year, the governor stands in front of a joint convention of House and Senate members and lauds their successes and talks about what's to come. And so Governor Lee's, I guess, the core tenet of his speech was innovation, which I'm not sure what we're innovating besides mass surveillance, criminalization, and austerity, but like, cool, yeah, 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 yeah. You've got that innovation. Mm-hmm. And I want to commend some of my fellow Democrats who decided to walk out, including Senator Charlene Oliver, who was the only senator to walk out. And it's important to note that what is happening in this building and what is happening in states like Tennessee with Republican supermajorities is not normal. The normalizing of procedure and process is not normal when you are living under an electoral autocracy. So shout out to them. I would have walked out with them. However, I was at a family function in Wisconsin and wasn't able to make it back. But I just wanted to say thank you to those who did walk out. I also want to give a big shout out to House member Ronnie Glenn, who's in my caucus. So we, in terms of anti-LGBTQI legislation, a few years ago we passed a bathroom bill, which means that kids who are on the gender identity spectrum can't use the bathroom of their choice. And so they decided to take it a step further and legislate that private schools have to enforce this, which, I mean, once again, this is not small government. This is big government interfering in private businesses. It makes no sense. But I just wanted to shout out Ronnie Glenn, who came to the defense of so many kids and for our community in his committee as the only Democrat on his subcommittee. And I just wanted to say thank you. It meant a lot, and I'm very grateful for your testimony. What else happened? Okay, so I also spoke to a CNN reporter this week as to what is going on in our state, the erosion of our civil liberties and our First Amendment rights, and it's. I felt like I said this in the last video, but it's turtles all the way down. And she was shocked. She was pretty horrified at just uh, how collapsed the guardrails are on our democracy, and we don't have a democracy anymore in this state. So really grateful. I'll post the hyperlink to the article that they published today. And basically, my pitch was to the Democratic Party and to external donors: we need support in Tennessee because your fate, as goes the South, as goes the nation, and your fate runs through the South. And so, if you are not investing in Tennessee, whatever fate we will endure, you will inevitably endure because it'll go through the Supreme Court. And ultimately, their goal is the dissolution of our Constitution to codify the will of the minority. Trademark Aftyn Behn. So what else? Okay, and what's coming up next week? So we have once again, terrible bills on docket. Representative Bolso's bill to criminalize providers who send abortion pills out of state will be in committee. Once again, this is criminalizing providers. It is an overreach. It is unconstitutional because it is uh, it's unconstitutional because we have the Interstate Commerce Clause, which allows business and commerce to cross state lines. So, and he should know that as an attorney. So, yeah. All right, I think that's it for this week. There will be last week was a slow build in our committees, but bills are starting to move through the hopper, and so you'll see a lot of committees. And just a flag that the Senate has decided, I think they have said the last day to put their bills on notice is March 11th, which seems insane for a non-election year. And what that means is that all of the bills that you have to be that you're going to run have to be on notice by March 11th, which is literally next month. But reason being, uh, former Speaker Glenn Casada has his federal trial at the end of April, and they're trying to get out as quickly as possible because a lot of members have been subpoenaed to testify. It is bring your popcorn. It is going to be an episode that you don't want to miss. Hopefully, I'll have some. I'll be organizing around that entire debacle. And as someone who got arrested protesting Casada in 2019, I feel like I gotta blow him some kisses as he's testifying. So anyways, thank you so much for listening. Please keep calling, emailing, showing up. I love, as a side note, I had two constituents in here that are biomedical researchers and scientists. This was their first meeting ever with an elected representative. And I was so tickled that they were in my office, and they had their talking points and they were ready to make their ask, like they had done their research as they do for their jobs. And I sat there with them and walked them through a power map, which for organizers is basically organizing 101. It's to identify your targets, who you are trying to move, who you are trying to persuade, who are you organizing against, and who are you basically like the chessboard of your campaign. And I felt like it was really beneficial. And so I really love, in my capacity right now, teaching folks how to organize and step up in this moment, because I know everyone is concerned. So thanks so much for all you do, and keep showing up, keep being loud, and keep caring loudly.